Welcome to The Beauty and the Beard. I'm Woody,
I'm Sarah.
and this is your AEW Dynamite review for May 12th, 2021. And Sarah,
Yes.
have battle lines officially been drawn between the two of us?
Dude, this is war. We've only just got started on this podcast, but it may be coming to an end so soon.
Yeah, man. With an impending battle between good, the Young Bucks, and evil, Moxley and Kingston, and now an apparent war of national pride between the American Nightmare or Dream, Cody Rhodes, and the crown jewel of the UK, Anthony Gogo. Things could get really messy on this show.
Yeah, this could be an interesting ride for everybody involved.
Could be. We might not survive.
No.
Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But we still have a review to do.
We do.
Sarah?
Yes.
Are you ready to talk some Dynamite?
I'm ready. Let's go.
The show opened with the world being reminded that Jonathan Moxley still has a single title belt. As he single title belt. Yes, that's one. As he successfully defended the IWGP US title in a hard-fought match with New Japan's Yuji Nagata via the Paradigm Shift. So, Sarah, what is your take on Jonathan's defense of his single championship belt?
I personally love this. Surprisingly. One, I love how he came to the ring with Eddie just being so gangster behind him, and then Wild Thing playing at the same time.
The Trogs, man.
Yeah.
The Trogs.
Which is just something I never expected to see was Eddie Kingston being Eddie Kingston to Wild Thing.
No.
which made me come one of my highlight entrances of the year so far, because it
was wild.
That was brilliant. Yeah, this was a great match opening with it was fast paced, and I just loved it. A lot of people know I've never really watched much New Japan wrestling at all.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I was just enthralled with this match, and like I said, it didn't let up. It just kept going and going and going. So yeah, absolutely fantastic.
It was hard hitting the entire time.
It was.
And I thought it was cool that Rocky Romero was in the stands. Another New Japan title. I think he lives in Florida, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. A few of them do, but yeah, I thought it was great. And at some point, Mox got his nose busted open or his eye cut. I mean, some of those strikes were legit. I mean, they were. It was the type of match I think that most people were looking for between these two guys. I think it was always going to be a stiff match. And it was pretty stiff, and I really enjoyed the Moxley bow into Nagata too. It was pretty cool. Even though
is real.
Yeah. Even though I think Moxley's a thug. It's still nice that he has some honor in him left, that he's willing to show Nagata some respect.
I love how you say that, but I just know if he walked up to you, you wouldn't say anything. So that makes me happy.
Whatever.
You drop chilies and worship him.
Totally would. I'm not going to say that as we're recording.
Don't worry, you'll say it to me after.
Anyways, so next we had Ortiz, Sammy Guevara, and Jake Hager, the Inner Circle, backstage with Alex Marvez. They're still reeling from their loss to the Pinnacle in the Blood and Guts match last week. But here's three things I learned from this. One, the Inner Circle wants a rematch. Two, Sammy wants to crash the Pinnacle's coronation tonight. And three, Santana apparently was arrested for forking MJF's face. I said forking MJF's face. Sarah?
Yes.
What do you think about this promo?
I loved it.
And Santana being arrested for
Poor Santana. I just loved how how they were all kind of like saying their little piece, and then Jake Hager just shouts down the camera at everybody, and it's just like, okay, chill.
Calm down, big
like
man.
we didn't know what was going to happen after like the fallout from Blood and Guts, and apparently, Jericho is injured, Santana is in prison, and we got these three. And Jake Hager seems to be the dad of them all now, because he's just like, shouting at everybody. But yeah, I love Sammy's last remark, where it's, give us a rematch or we'll put you in your grave. Okay. It's just getting real dark and twisty now.
Wow. And we got a little more from them later too. So
we did.
There's more coming.
Inner Circle so much.
Yeah.
And I like saying that now, because they're not the bad guys, but I loved them before.
Oh, yeah.
But I just love how they're how this progressed through the night.
So I'm just picturing Santana in prison now. His cellmate. What you in for? Well, let me explain. It's gonna take a minute.
Sit down. You won't believe this.
Yeah. Let me start from the beginning.
What's this company?
Yeah. So next we got Cody's big Double or Nothing announcement, and there's a lot to talk about here. So, and from the moment he started, he was fishing for that USA chant in the crowd, and I knew where it was going. Yeah, I knew where it was going. I knew exactly where it was going, where you thought it was going to go last week. So, after an emotional, fiery promo that hit some real world issues, I mean, it actually resonated in some parts. He announced that we will get Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Gogo at Double or Nothing, but it won't be the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. For one night only, he will be the American Dream Cody Rhodes. So, Sarah,
yes,
are you and I going to survive this battle between USA and the UK? Are we good? We solid?
I think we'll be okay as long as we respect each other.
I'll try my best. That's the best I can do.
Look, we all know where I live.
You know where I live.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting, and I think from both sides you can take whatever you want from this promo. I'm going to say it is wrestling, so let's just all simmer down slightly. But I can't help but feel like Cody Rhodes has just gone, screw the UK.
Kind of sounded like it, didn't it?
I was like, geez, dude, if you come over here and like whenever you come, just like, say something nice beforehand. Jeez.
You remember that UK tour? Yeah, we're canceling that.
It's just
Thanks,
I'll never
Cody.
see a live show, will I?
No.
So look, I watched and listened to this as a British person, or English person, or whatever you want to call yourselves. And I genuinely and audibly, on my own with the dog, rolled my eyes and sighed at this. Look, what he got to in the promo was brilliant, and I 100% stand with them facts and what he said. The bit in the middle where he decided to say things about England, if you want, and I just all of a sudden felt like going, why am I viewing Cody Rhodes as a heel? This is what's going on right now. This is really weird. But yeah, at the end of the day, where he got to in the promo, I 100% agree with. As many people know, they are my views as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, this is what me and you have been waiting for. This is going to be an interesting match to watch and to review.
It will be. And I never anticipated it being a battle of countries. I didn't think it was.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't think about that, but now that it does make sense. He's American Nightmare. We're going to be the American Dream for a night, and Anthony Gogo is the household name, as you said in the past, in the UK. So it makes sense. I didn't connect the dots until now. So here we are.
This should be interesting to see how AEW, Twitter, UK and US split. I feel like it's the World Cup.
Yeah, I did. This is a new wrinkle. I wasn't expecting.
We'll survive. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be good. We'll be good. Now the Bucks, Moxley, Kingston thing, I'm not so sure. But with this,
that's the bit that will break us.
Yeah, it's not the battle of the countries. It's the battle of good and evil that's really going to get us. So yeah, it's all subjective.
Potato.
Okay, so next we had, in my opinion, the match of the night. That's just my opinion. Might not be yours. And an emotional moment for a lot of people when the Young Bucks, AEW Tag Team Champions, and the greatest duo in the history of pro wrestling, defeated SCU in a bloody match. That's right. SCU finally lost. They will team no more. And the Bucks retained the titles. Now, this obviously broke the Bucks' heart. I could see that it bothered them deeply because they are the moral compass of the AEW locker room. So I could tell this bothered them heavily. It weighed on their hearts. So, Sarah, what do you think about this? The way this match played out and how the Bucks contained their emotions?
Well, they're just absolute a-holes, aren't they? I don't know what you want me to say. Matt Jackson did a Shawn Michaels.
I'm sorry. I love you. Oh, I loved every minute of that. And I think he meant it. It felt like he really meant that.
I don't think he did, because then he smashed the guy in the face.
That was great. That was a cool moment.
No, this was a brilliant match. Like, you can't deny this was absolutely fantastic. And I loved obviously the beginning when they were just kind of like having a bit of a slappy match together, and then I mean, we knew what was going to happen. I don't think anybody could have gone into this not thinking this was going to happen.
No.
But the Bucks have truly got into mega heel territory now.
Yes.
Like that's it. Like, they have completely evolved.
And look,
it's the final evolvement that you have in Pokemon or something. It's like the final form.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it.
This is I didn't expect this to be as brutal as it was, man. When Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, they've been teaming forever. So in all seriousness, man, it was sad to see them in their last match. And when CD got busted open,
my God, he looked like Jesus. That looked absolutely horrific.
Yes, it did, and it just kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. I mean, I thought it was going to get near Dustin Rhodes territory from Double or Nothing, because he was bleeding pretty good.
It wasn't far off.
No, it wasn't, because a lot of that blood was out on the floor. I mean, he was dripping blood pretty steadily on the floor when it first happened, but just the way it played out after that, when he came back in to save Kazarian at one point, I thought that was going to completely take CD out of the match, but he got back in and made the save, and then for him to be the one to take the fall, watching him take that BTE trigger, as bloody as he was, made the BTE trigger look like double brutal. I mean, it was rough. So that was, I mean, just again, it was a great match on its own, but just to add the blood and everything else into it, and it just made it that much better. Put a couple more stars on there. So
yeah, definitely.
But and you know what? And we should have been able to really enjoy those final moments of Kazarian and Christopher Daniels together in the ring after the match. But that beautiful moment was stolen from us, Sarah.
I don't know what
it's not enough. It's not enough to try to steal the Bucks' shoes from their trailer. But now Moxley and Kingston are stealing the final spotlight from SCU. Because the camera's cut to the back where Edward and Jonathan were trashing the Elite locker room like two spoiled brats. So defend this, Sarah. I'll wait.
They were really angry. You just don't annoy them. Look, you saw what happened at Blood and Guts. They are not happy. They got absolutely sat on by the Elite. And so they were just making a point, taking the frustration out, and it's furniture, you can replace it.
And stole a moment from SCU. And a lot of people were upset that we didn't get to see more.
Technically, they didn't steal the moment. The production team stole the moment because they cut to the back. Yeah.
This makes me sick. Okay. So I'm sorry to everybody out there that didn't get to see Daniels and Kaz, embrace live on TV. On behalf of Jonathan, Edward, and Sarah, I'll apologize to everyone on their behalf.
But can I just also interject the fact that John Moxley is in AEW means that New Japan is working with AEW?
That's a formality. It was going to happen. Okay, let's
move
on.
It wasn't.
So
move on.
Now we got Christian Cage with Dasha, where we found out that he was tired of Taz's crap. Surprise, right? Mm-hmm. He's getting tired of Taz. And he has an open contract that he wants someone from Team Taz to accept. And he's also entering himself in the Casino Battle Royale at Double or Nothing. But Matt Sydal has already signed the open contract. And he will face Christian next week. And he too will be in the Casino Battle Royale. So what do you think of Matt Sydal interrupting Christian back here in the back? What we found out. Sarah.
You know what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like these type of other company interview styles at all.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm not a massive fan of Christian Cage interviews at the moment. Still, they are getting better for me to watch and listen to. I still prefer his in-ring stuff more than him speaking. And then the fact that Matt Sydal interrupted in that way, it just didn't feel. It felt quite. How do I want to say it? Kind of like he was cued,
exactly.
I'm not a fan of that in any aspect anywhere. I'm not, it doesn't bother me if there have been interviews and where Alex Marvez does it and it's in the front and someone walks through because that area isn't a solid wall. There's you can go around the back, and so that makes more sense. But just for him to just it seemed like he just took 2 steps forward. And I just felt as if that was a bit too perfect for me. I'm not a fan of how this went personally, but I'm looking forward to the match. So
and we've seen a couple of these, a few of these like this with Christian. So I'm not sure if there's a reason for that. I'm not sure. But the promo, the news that came out of it itself, and the promo itself wasn't terrible. Like you said, is the way it's executed, the way it's put together. If you could hear Matt Sydal screaming from a distance at Christian before it all happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's screaming, interrupting. You could play that a little different, and it changes the whole feel. It makes it so natural.
It look more legit than just kind of listening to him and then going, "Oh, it's my turn." Right? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. 100%. Next, we had a match that I was really looking forward to. I think a lot of people were.
Everybody was.
Orange Cassidy versus Pac to decide who will face Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing for one of his 4. That's right, Sarah. one of his 4 titles. 4 titles. Okay. Make that clear. That title is the AEW Championship. And this match ended as a draw when neither man could answer the 10 count. Pac, because he was like barely bumped in the head with the AEW title when Kenny was trying to show it to him or something. And Orange Cassidy, because he may have legitimately been injured. So now we're getting a triple threat at Double or Nothing between Omega, Pac, and Orange Cassidy for the AEW title. So what's your takeaway from this? And do you think this was planned like this, or did they call an audible because of what happened to Orange Cassidy?
You see, when I watched this, and I've watched it like twice now, I don't generally know if it wasn't planned, then I like the outcome anyway. And if it was planned, I still like the outcome. Orange Cassidy generally looked like he hurt himself. He kept clutching like his throat and his neck and stuff like that as well.
He landed hard on the back of his neck. It was like a power bomb, right? Like a sit down power bomb or something. And I mean, it wasn't exactly like a little quiet match, was it? It was. No, he got thrown about quite a lot. But I understand. I'm glad they did it the way it was done in a way, and I know not a lot of people are happy with it. But at the end of the day, to make it look legit, this is probably the best way for it to be done. Because if you put it into context of Kenny Omega's character, this is a Kenny Omega thing to do. He doesn't want to defend his title. He's not for defending his title. He wants to keep it because he wants to just have them all. So for him to say, well, Orange Cassidy is knocked out, so if you knock Pac out then no one wins, therefore his title isn't on the line. So the best way to do it is to knock Pac out with the belt, and it's done then. He doesn't have to go to Double or Nothing. He doesn't have to, defend his belt or anything like that. So in that sense, that fits Kenny Omega really well. Because when he had the announcement at Blood and Guts, he expected it to be Pac and didn't really give Orange Cassidy any kind of, thought at all. So, yes, I can see why people wanted the match to be kind of like the Orange Cassidy Pac match that we had at Revolution that time. I 100% understand that. And I agreed that would have been an amazing match to watch. But you've got to also then look at the fact that if he's seriously been hurt, you can't carry on no matter what. And the best outcome then is to make it make sense in storyline. Instead of it just being stopped. And I haven't looked online to see if he was legit injured yet. I just assume, I'm going by what I saw last night. I thought he was, and it felt to me like they called an audible because there was a lot of pause after he got, quote unquote injured. Because I know Pat kind of kick rolled him out of the ring, got him out there to kind of check on things. And then when he got back in, Aubrey got in between them a lot. So it felt like they were stalling for something. And then that's something. It did feel like, because AEW doesn't do that much where you have a non-finish. So I thought where I was disappointed from a match standpoint, because I went into this thinking we're going to get a clear-cut winner. One of these two guys is going on to face Kenny Omega, because they also don't do triple threats.
No,
especially not for titles. I'm pretty confident saying this. They've never had a triple threat for a title yet.
No, I don't think so.
Because from a personal standpoint, I can't stand triple threats because it's completely unfair to the title holder where they can lose the title and not even get pinned or submitted. I hate that. I hate it. And other places do it so often. I was so happy that I hadn't seen that in AEW. But now, if this is taken into consideration, this may have been done because they had to call an audible. I'm totally cool with it. And I think the match will be great. So
and also don't forget, I mean, everybody was complaining when Matt Hardy's match wasn't stopped. You can't have it all the ways all the time. If you want them to be safe and precautious, they're going to be safe and precautious. And if that means having to think on their feet on how to make. And look, it makes sense in storyline, so you're still getting what you were getting eventually. It's just done differently. And until we know how the match is going to pan out, it could be where Kenny has to pin one of them and then another one for him to keep his title. It may not be where he loses it if Pac pins OC, like Orange Cassidy.
Could be.
We don't know yet.
Yeah,
so,
we don't. You're right. There hasn't been a triple threat, so the rules could be different than what we're used to.
Rules. And also, don't forget, it's Kenny Omega's title. Legitimately, there's only really one person in line for that in a storyline perspective.
There should be.
That man is Hangman Adam Page.
Hangman Adam Page. Yep.
So I think everybody needs to just calm down,
simmer down,
some deep breaths, and just let AEW figure it out, because they had to figure it out really quick.
Then we saw 4 angels backstage. Those angels were the Bucks and the Good Brothers.
They were trying to make. Ever been called that in their lives?
Just now. You only get the truth here, folks. And they were trying to make sense of why Moxley and Kingston would trash their locker room. But amidst this chaos, amidst this trauma that was laid on them, they announced that they will heroically defend the titles against the Varsity Blondes next week. And that because even the best of people have breaking points, Sarah, they are finally going to stand up to those 2 bullies, Moxley and Kingston, as they cordially invited them to a super kick party at Double or Nothing. Sarah, look, if Edward and Jonathan keep poking the bear, this is bound to happen. So just be careful what you wish for.
I know, but would you really want to fight 2 bears?
Well, I got a lot of cheese, so.
Well, there we go. Look, this is. I'm so ready for this. Like, seriously,
absolutely.
I'm like legitimately
yes.
Hurry up. When is it Double or Nothing? Is it not now? Is it not this weekend?
Can we put this in the main? This should be the main event. It feels like this should be the main event. I know it's not going to be.
It's not going to be, but oh my God, could you imagine if it
for
is?
For us, it's the main event.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited. Poor Bucks. But no, this is gonna be Double or Nothing is gonna be a really hard thing for us to watch.
Well, that preview show we do for that is gonna be
we're gonna have to set ourselves some ground rules for that.
Yeah, we are.
Because otherwise we could be going on forever.
Time limits and things we can or cannot say. Like there has to be something. Yep. Okay. Yep. Can't go too far with it.
Thank goodness there's an ocean.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Agreed. Because the battle line is somewhere out there in the ocean. That's where the line is.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's planes and boats crossing over this invisible battle line that they don't realize that they really don't care about. But we do.
No,
it's cool.
We do.
Hopefully somebody else does. So, next, we saw Hangman Adam Page backstage with the Dark Order. And we found out that not only that Page is challenging Brian Cage to a rematch at Double or Nothing, but he's also good at puns. And John Silver was very excited about that.
I love this.
Yeah, I figured you enjoyed it.
John Silver's just like a little excited puppy. He's just so adorable. I just want to wrap him up in a blanket and feed him some treats or something. I just love him so much.
Oh my Lord.
And I just love how Mum was just like, I get it. He's like become the father figure. Like they're just like all crowded around him, like just like, what's he gonna say next? I love this so much. I just want more of Hangman and Dark Order stuff. Like you could imagine them in like a little sitcom TV show, but like set like in the 60s or something.
kind of an odd couple sort of thing.
Yeah, but just like a whole lot of them in like a house, and just like what they do on a daily basis. Yeah, no, I love it, and I can't wait for just please, like, Hangman, be safe. Please don't do anything really stupid that means, you know, you're out for 7 months.
Please don't get injured. Please don't get injured. Because we have plans. We have
plans for you, Hangman. We have hands.
We do. All right. Then we had a very interesting segment. It was the coronation of the Pinnacle following their victory over the Inner Circle at Blood and Guts last week. And they came out to gloat, you know, in their victory, as you would expect them to do. But more importantly, they wanted to make sure that the Inner Circle knew that they would not be getting a rematch. But we're getting a rematch, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Because Sammy, Ortiz, and Hager interrupted them as they rode out on, I guess you call it the Bubbly Express. And but was Jericho in the back of it? Yes.
I just love it so much.
Yes.
Just knowing that he was
sat
there as they trundled along.
Just hanging on. This is going to be so funny.
Just like, Jesus.
But so the Inner Circle sprayed down the Pinnacle with what I'm assuming is some of Jericho's signature champagne. And MJF was irate, obviously. And so he accepted their challenge. But it's not going to be just a regular rematch. This is going to be Stadium Stampede 2 between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. And apparently, they haven't said for sure, but it sounds like if the Inner Circle loses, that they're going to have to break up forever. So, you think about all this.
Can we just enjoy the fact that they came down with women, for one?
Yeah, the Pinnacle, yeah.
Which is very MJF.
It is.
All dressed up nicely. Tully in a sparkly jacket. And Wardlow didn't seem to be paying much attention to anything that was being said apart from the women. He was just generally like chatting to them as like all these like promos are going on. His back turned to the crowd, and all the women were like smiling at him, and it's like, he's having a really good time right now. Like, dude, there's something going on you need to be a part of. Oh my goodness. When he gets dressed up, like, he looks like he's going to burst out of his shirt. And then I love it when then Tully started talking. You saw him just spin round instantly, like, yeah, I'm part of this. Excuse me, ladies.
That's right.
So Max in his little crown. Oh God, there's so much.
He looked great.
He looked great. Much. And then obviously, it was like, who's that honking? And I was like, just flashbacks to Moxley and Eddie Kingston.
That's exactly what I thought too. I was like, oh God, what are they doing?
But I love how MJF was shouting at the crowd who was honking. They're like, not us.
Yeah.
No idea. And then obviously you pan round to see Sammy looking like he's driving a tank. I just love the fact that Jericho popped up in the back. I was like, guess who's back? This was that thing I looked pretty out for a dead bitch. Oh my God. Sorry, that's something that I've just remembered. That makes me laugh. So obviously, like, he's then spraying them with what we assuming champagne.
I'm assuming it was.
And like, but do you not think it's funny how they were like doing the falling around stuff, and it harks back to when
the
Orange Cassidy and and Ortiz kept just falling on his back going, I can't swim.
Yeah. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it reminded me of that so much. And I love the fact that like Hax and Cash like hanging on to like the ropes because they're falling. And then you just cut to MJF in a corner, drenched, just looking so annoyed and upset. It's like some like kids coming, like, you know, drenched him at his birthday party or something. But yeah, so the stipulation is if they accept it, then the Inner Circle is no more. And Sammy looked genuinely concerned about this fact, because what does he do with himself if there is no Inner Circle? What happens?
I know.
What happens to any of them?
It's gonna be
interesting.
That added stipulation to the match alone makes the match. It raises the stakes, because there's you know, obviously no titles on the line, and if it's just a straight rematch, you know, you're like, well, but now there's really something to fight for, not just bragging rights, I guess you'd say.
And also, what I liked was when MJF was leaving, the girls were in his way, and like, move.
What are you doing out here?
Move. But what I'm interested in is if they're going to do Blood and Guts next year, and this becomes a regular thing, is it just me, or does anybody else think that Blood and Guts should be moved far away from if there's another Stadium Stampede?
Yes,
or is it just going to be a continuation as kind of like an extra grudge match? Because otherwise you've got roughly the same type of matches.
Yeah, because you don't want to fall into a format
away from each other.
No, I think you have to. I mean, I think it, and I'm almost wondering if like this wasn't part of a plan necessarily. Like they went, you know, what would be cool? Like, you know, after Blood and Guts, you know, it would be pretty cool. We could do Blood and Guts too, and this would be awesome. You know, if we did it for the.
It will also be interesting. Like when everything goes back on the road, they're only going to be able to do Stadium Stampede, I'm guessing, at Jacksonville. Yeah,
that's a good point, because this is kind of a send off, because they're going to be hitting the road again pretty soon.
Yeah.
So. And really, how many other places could you do a Stadium Stampede situation with?
Probably not anywhere, considering the Crowns own it.
No, because
can we just ruin your field?
Yeah. Can we borrow the field again? But I mean, it has to be done almost cinematic style because of all the different places they went. So this could be the last Stadium Stampede match we see for a long time. You could do Blood and Guts again, but Stadium Stampede is a little different.
Anywhere.
Yeah, so we may not see Stampede stuff for a while. So didn't think about that.
No.
All right.
Sorry to bring everybody down.
Well, no, I know. Oh man, now I'm sad. This could be the last one forever.
Oh no.
Okay. But let's get everybody happy again, because next we saw women's #1 contender. Yes. Britt Baker with JR, and she let us know that Sheeta created her. After breaking her nose, she blamed that on Sheeta, like, this is the monster you created. And that with Sheeta on top, the division has been on life support, but that she is the pulse that will keep it alive. The good doctor guaranteed victory at Double or Nothing. Do you believe her?
Oh, yeah.
She gonna win? Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. I think if you did a poll, I want to say 100% would say yes.
100%. Probably so.
Yeah. The only thing about this for me is I wish it was Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
Like, I love JR. Like, I do, genuinely. But just because of Britt and Schiavone together, how like they bounce off each other really well, I just really wish it had been Tony Schiavone for this. And like I've said before, when she becomes champion, I want her to have like Tony Schiavone as like her personal interviewer, just for the fact that she makes him do stuff like DMD.
I wonder if this is going to lead to that, though, because you know during the interview, it sounded like she got irritated with JR a little bit. I said, I know you're trying to make me look like a bad guy here. I understand that. That's what you're trying to do. So maybe they're going to have JR and other people interview her leading up to this, and then finally she gets interviewed by one of them after she wins the title and refuses. Says, nope, bring me Tony. That would be great. That would be cool. Fingers crossed, because that would be fun. Crossed. I agree. Yep. Staying with the women's division, we saw Thunder Rosa win a glorified squash match over Jasmine Allure with the Fire Thunder driver. And there's not a whole lot to talk about from this match, other than I am super excited that we got Thunder Rosa back on Dynamite.
Yeah, I have missed her.
Yes.
But yeah, this was a squash match, and Thunder Rosa won it. Yep. So there's not really much else to say about it. So
no, but the more Thunder Rosa we have on Dynamite, the better for me.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
She is one of those that is a trailblazer at the top of the women's division. I mean, that's in wrestling, period. Not just the women's division. I mean, Thunder Rosa is just awesome, period. So
yeah,
I'm interested to see what happens with her going forward. And it sounds like she might be involved with that NWA title at some point again down the road. So that would be super cool. And then we got one of your absolute favorites, Jade Cargill. Yep, Jade Cargill, the Tony Schiavone, and she's still mulling over her offers. One in particular that was pointed out was from Mark Sterling, who wants to ink her to a deal. And it's an interesting connection because Sterling was also MJF's lawyer. So, Sarah, does that mean there's a chance?
I got so excited when I realized it was him. I was like, oh, could it be? Yeah. Could it be? I really don't know what's going to happen with this now.
Yeah.
I so wanted to be with MJF in the Pinnacle, as I keep mentioning every single week.
Speaking into existence.
Could you imagine her she'd just be like the boss woman of the entire faction. And I think she'd bring them to kind of like, they'd become in line a bit more. And, you know, she could definitely match MJF for tactics and stuff like that. So, and promo and everything. So I'm still hoping.
I think they're at least hinting it, because there's that connection between her and MJF now. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm still kind of hoping it ends up leading to the Pinnacle. So we'll see. And then in the main event tonight, and what a main event it was. It continued the story of Darby Allen attempting to survive another TNT title defense, as he has done against challenger after challenger for a while. But after taking the beating from Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page last week and being thrown down a freaking flight of concrete steps, the deck was absolutely stacked against him.
Yeah.
And his TNT title reign came to an abrupt end tonight. As Miro, who ain't playing games anymore, brutalized Darby. Yes, yeah. I mean, he threw Darby around, and then he finished him off with the game over, and the ref stopped the match. So how do you feel after this? It kind of hurt.
It felt like before the bell rang, Miro was like beating him up for 15 minutes.
Yeah, because they
didn't get anything in at all.
Because they kept it going, and that was a key moment too. And Darby was like, the ref was asking, "Do you want to start the match?" This is after he can barely walk, and he's like, "Yeah, start the match." Yeah, go ahead, start.
It's just so. Looking at it from one side and then to another. From the dark side, I'm devastated because he was brilliant as a TNT champion. He definitely was a different champion to have, which I really liked. And it kind of, showed that the TNT title is for anybody.
Yes.
It's not just for the big guys. It's not just for the, main event guys. It's for anybody. And I was, sad that he lost it and the way he lost it, because he literally looked like he would have been like, dismantled piece by piece. But from the Miro side, it's going to get good.
It is.
It's going to be so good. And everyone has been asking for this from Miro. But, oh, my goodness, it was...
Yeah.
I can't wait for his rounding now. It's going to be so interesting.
And I love it because, again, Darby's survival through this whole thing has been the story, and it felt like it was inevitable. Like he finally just, after beating and surviving so many, and that it was such a beast like Miro that just it's just too much. It's finally hit that wall, and he, it was an admirable loss because of the beating he took last week, getting thrown down the steps. getting beaten half to death before the match even started.
Yeah.
And then when the refs asked him, "Are you ready to go?" Again, that's the Darby side, like we were talking about when he got thrown down the steps and the guy's trying to check on him. He's like, "Just leave me alone." It's the same thing. The refs like, "You good?" Like, just leave me alone. Start the match. Just it furthers how tough Darby is.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a bad loss. It didn't make Darby look bad.
No.
But it was the right move though, because Miro agreed. Miro's run should be an absolute awesome one, because he deserves it too. After what he's come from and the stuff he's been doing since he got to AEW, this is what everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah, this is exactly like you can just see now that and how he's gonna do his reign, as in is he gonna do like what previous champions have done, where he like puts the title on the line every week. I don't know, but also what I've noticed about the championship as a thing is it seems to that when the champion, if you look at like what Cody did when Brody Lee got it, and like then when how now Darby's lost it, it's like they push themselves every week to defend it, and the toll that takes on them means they do eventually lose it because they've been on the go every week defending it. And I like that little story in it, that it's defended so much there has to be a breaking point. And it's going to be interesting to see what Miro does with it, because obviously he's a completely different wrestler to anyone that's had it before in size and everything. So I'm interested.
And I know we had, pretty much both of us had picked Archer to be the next champion. And he walked out at the end of the show and was being held back by Jake trying to get to Miro, it looked like. So
that would be like a clash of titans.
Do you think there's a chance we got Archer and Miro at Double or Nothing? I don't know.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't even I'm too excited to even speculate that.
Yeah, because it feels like that's what they were pointing towards. And then we had, even during the match and after, we had Scorpio Sky and Paige attacking Sting again. So again, these two knuckleheads getting going after the legend Sting again. So I don't know.
Could be interesting.
Continuation
Coming up.
Yep. So yeah, awesome episode.
Really good.
As usual, a lot of stuff coming out of that, and it's really starting to build towards Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Can't get here quick enough. And next week looks to be fun too. Got 4 matches announced for next week. Serena Deeb, NWA Women's Champion, will defend her title against Red Velvet. The Young Bucks, greatest tag team of all time, and AEW Tag Team Champions, will defend those titles against the Varsity Blondes. Matt Sydal will face Christian Cage, and Anthony Gogo will go one-on-one with Austin Gunn of the Nightmare Family. So, yeah, it's a solid lineup right there for next week. And it appears that we're live going forward now, because this Dynamite we just had should have been a taped show under the normal schedule, but it was live. So apparently every episode is going to be live now. So that's a good thing. Progress, people. Progress. Yep. All right.
So
is it question time?
It is the review questions.
Yes, question time.
You love question time.
I love me some question time.
Thank you to everybody that has obviously put the questions forward.
Yes.
Like I try and explain every week, we do try and answer questions as much as possible. We can't obviously answer every single question that comes in, otherwise we could possibly be here for a few hours. I also like to give people that haven't asked questions before to have their questions answered. So if you've asked questions every week and they've been answered, and then yours isn't answered this week, that's why I'm trying to get, a good round mix of questions and people who ask questions.
So but keep asking questions anyway.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because what we're going to do is we're also taking note of some questions that could be used for future discussions between myself and Woody, and probably future prediction shows like we want to do for Double or Nothing. So still ask the questions. They are being noted down. It's just we may not use them in the review questions. They may just be used later on.
Absolutely.
So, sir, are you ready?
Far away. I'm
okay,
ready.
So our first question is from Marshall Haycock.
Hello, what's up?
And I'd love to ask you this question. Thank you very much, Marshall, for letting me ask this question. So excited to ask this question. Woody?
I'm ready.
Do you think the Bucks are too cocky?
They're not cocky. That's I think what people are doing, they're confusing cockiness with confidence. So no, I do not think they are too cocky. I don't think they're cocky at all. I think they're just very confident because they are the locker room leaders in AEW, and I think they are leading by example and how to to take care of business, and they're confident in their ability. So no, I do not think they are cocky at all.
But he does caveat to go on saying, I mean, so this is his full question. Do you think
there's more. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Do you think that the Young Bucks are getting way too cocky? I mean, like if you're good at something and famous, you'll be cocky at one point. But is this the Young Bucks doing it too much? No. So he thinks they're going a bit overboard.
No, I think no. I think they're perfect doing what they're doing. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they're the tag team champions. They're very confident in their ability, and they're carrying their plan out thoroughly. So no, I think what they're doing to perfection. So keep it going, boys. Sarah, what do you think? What do
I think?
I'm interested. Yes.
Yeah, the cocky little AF. Yeah, look, they're being heels and they're doing really well at being heels. Do I wish that I could punch them through the TV screen sometimes? Yes, I do.
How dare you, sacrilege!
But I think them being cocky is working if you're not liking it, because that's what they're meant to be doing right now. They're meant to be becoming the heels, so you don't like them. That is what their character are aiming for, and they've done very well with dismantling SCU. To add to that, as you could hear from the crowd,
I felt bad about it.
In a sense, I understand where this question is coming from. Yes, they are, but it's meant to be like that as far as I can see. So yeah, they are cocky AF, but that's just what they're going for right now. Good Christian boys, remember? Good Christian
They are
boys.
Good. They're good examples.
Yep. Next question.
Go ahead.
And I'm sorry if I butcher your name because I am really bad at names. Maza Hair Fazl has a question for us. Who do you think will? Oh, thank you. Who do you think will dethrone Miro for the TNT title?
Oh man, that's he just got.
Don't think we know yet.
We've been picking Archer for so long.
I know
that's where my mind automatically goes. But man, if they face like now or Double or Nothing, which is a possibility, that would be too soon for Miro to lose it, right?
Yeah, that would damage Miro.
So man, I don't know. Let's. I'll make a bold prediction right now.
Okay.
I think Miro's going to keep it for a while.
Yeah.
And then a certain baby face who's breaking away from a certain faction, who's going to come back from a certain injury, fractured neck, named Ricky Starks, is going to dethrone in a really cool babyface moment and take down the Giant and be the next TNT champion.
I'd love that.
Yeah. You would.
That is
that's
tasty.
That's my prediction. Because he is going to be out for a little bit with his fractured neck.
Yeah. I think they said like 3 months or something.
Mm-hmm. So
But
long reign by Miro.
Could you imagine a sassy Ricky Starks with a sassy TNT title?
Super sassy.
Super sassy. Yeah, I 100% love that. My only worry is the only way I can see this working out with Lance Archer being involved. Sit with me for this one because I'm trying to explain it best I can out of my head.
Right. I'm hanging in there.
Is if you remember what Sting said to him, that you keep being put in for these shots and you keep disappearing because you don't win them, and it's, you know, Jake, take care of your man type thing. If he goes for the TNT title at Double or Nothing, and I agree it is too soon for him to win it, but he loses.
I see where you're going.
Does he then like drop Jake and match up with Sting and Darby and become the face that way? And then after he's been with Sting for a good few months, Ricky can win the title 100%. Or he doesn't win the title and Miro has it for that long and it gets to like say All In.
Yeah. And by then you've repackaged Archer. Not repackaged him, but you know, told the story of him with Sting.
Yeah. You could do that. I mean,
it's not bad. Not bad.
It's an option. But I just think the fact that he's been so prevalent in Darby's run and the fact that, you know, he's looking at the title and, you know, he's thinking of it and stuff like that, to keep it so he doesn't fade into the background sort of thing again, you could do it like that possibly.
Yeah, because my thought with that, with the Miro Archer possible match coming is what it looks like. That's my first thought was, well, man, that means Archer's going to lose. I don't want Archer losing, but if he loses and there's a purpose behind it, if they make that part of the story, like you're saying, with him needing to get rid of Jake, go with Sting, and that's where the story goes, it's okay. I'm okay with that. Like, I don't want to see him lose and just fade away again, like you just mentioned. So I would be okay with Archer losing if there's a point behind it. So, okay.
It's not all in, it's all out, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you say all in?
I said all in, but all out. It's not. It's all out.
All out, all in, whatever.
There's so many different words they use.
I knew what you meant.
All out. Oh, thank goodness.
Yep.
I knew what I meant. I just couldn't formulate the words in my mouth.
There you go.
But
English is hard.
English is really hard, even if it is like your legit first language. So that's just that's. I just think that's going to be like a different route, as in you don't want to completely remove Lance Archer from around the TNT title because otherwise, then what's been the point of the last few months?
Yeah.
But then again, you don't want Miro to drop it so soon either.
No, so you give him a nice you have Archer lose and then give it 3 month time period before that rematch happens and it feels fresh and new and you can have him win it then. Yeah, like it.
Yeah,
like it a lot.
So the next one is from Marshall. Is it?
Yes. Hey, what's up, Shell?
So the question is, any idea why Scorpio Sky left SCU? Any idea?
I really don't know. I know I remember him starting his solo run, and it started with a promo on Dark, and that's kind of when he's sort of went on his things separate from SCU, and then it went into the feud with Shawn Spears, which is a short feud that he lost to Spears.
Yeah.
and he really hasn't. I don't believe he's been with SCU since then. So I'm not sure if there was a specific storyline reason why he left, unless it's something I missed on Dark or Dark Elevation at some point since Elevation started. But I really don't think there was a specific storyline reason other than him just wanting to break out into a singles run. Yeah, that's a really good question. Now I should have thought about this a little further because I did see the question beforehand. I should have done some more research into this one because something could have happened on Dark that I missed. But as far as I know, there wasn't like a, hey, I'm tired of SCU. I'm getting rid of baggage, that kind of thing. You know, I don't think there really was. It was more of a personal thing.
I don't remember anything being exactly like a moment that he was like, right, I'm out of it. I'm just quickly jumped on the internet to see if there is anything that's been mentioned.
Anything?
Nothing's
doing research
jumping
on the spot.
This
is what we do. This is what we do.
There's nothing that's jumping out that's saying, to be honest with you, I don't know if it's just because he wanted the singles run. Because obviously he's done the tag titles, and we know it originally wasn't meant to be him with the tag titles.
It was
with
Kazarian.
So, and then obviously he has tried to go for singles championships before.
Yes.
So maybe he just felt like, you know, he's got to get out if he wants single championships. But then it's weird that he's teamed up with Ethan Page, although I don't think that's like, you know, I think that's more of a means to an end.
I agree.
So yeah, I have no idea. I'm going to look into this more properly and try and actually get an answer.
All right.
Because I've always just accepted that he's on a singles run, and I've never actually thought, wait a minute.
Me either. I've never really put any thought into it until I saw that question, and I intended to look it up before the show, and then I didn't. So,
but don't forget though, like Kazarian and Daniels now have presumably stopped teaming together. So, is SCU still a thing?
No, I assume
not.
Have
you think about this?
Yeah. You got us thinking, Shell. You got us thinking in all different directions.
You really got us thinking.
But no definitive answer, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry, but we will get one. Like I said, we'll both look into it and we'll sort of come to a definitive answer at some point.
I can make up something. They got in an argument over a bill at dinner because Sky was supposed to pay, and he said he didn't bring his wallet, so they're never friends again now. And now Sky won't answer the text from Daniels or Kazarian. So they just avoid each other in the locker room. And so that's why Sky started hanging out with Ethan Page, because Ethan Page will pay for everything because he's got fancy clothes.
That's such an elaborate storyline now.
So that's it.
Johnny Khan, book it.
All right.
Okay, so carrying on with the questions. We've got another question. And again, if I butcher your name, I am very sorry. Just tell me how to say it.
She's going to butcher it.
Yeah. Pogi Lock, I want to say. Something. Pogi Lock, possibly.
That sounds right.
Like I said, if you want me to say your name correctly or I have said it incorrectly, please let me know and I will, you know, try and say it better.
Tell her she's wrong, even if she's right. Still tell her she's wrong.
Don't be mean to me. His question, or the question is Pac the man to dethrone Kenny?
No. I would be very disappointed if he was. Not that Pac doesn't deserve it.
Everybody else would be as well.
Yeah, you would definitely be upset too. I know.
You'd want to run away from Twitter that day.
Yeah, because the way this story is going, it absolutely has to be. I don't see any other way around it. It has to be Adam Page that dethrones Kenny Omega at All Out. It has to be. That is the story. That's the way this movie is moving forward. That's where we got to get to. So, unfortunately for Pac, I don't see any way that he's going to win this title.
No,
Not this time. Not this time.
I agree. Like we said quite a few times on past reviews, the way this has been going for like the last coming up for like over a year now, like a year and a half nearly. This has all been leading to the point where it is literally like this entire storyline has been split into sections. So obviously we've had the bit where Hangman wasn't happy with the Elite. Then he roughly split from the Elite, but joined forces with Kenny. Then they lost the belts. Then Kenny became world champion. Then Hangman went on a drinking slump. And so on and so forth. So now Hangman's had a knockback with Brian Cage, but he should be back on his arc going up. And as he goes up, he's aiming for this title. So I personally don't see anybody getting Omega's title apart from Hangman. If it did go to anybody else, I think AEW Twitter would explode. And I don't think Tony Khan would hear the end of it ever. But I do expect Pac at one point, probably in the next few years or something, to have that title, because if he doesn't get it, that is also an absolute fault on AEW part, because the guy is amazing, and what he's had the issues with over the last year and so, with obviously restrictions and everything like that, and he's still in immense physical shape and still
he is a beast.
And still wrestling top quality. He has to have that title. He deserves that title at some point, but I think just for now, not the time.
No. Nope, I agree.
But it will happen, just not now.
Nope.
The storyline is not there now for it to happen.
No,
especially with the world title. Like, you can't just have it thrown around to whoever because they've got a title shot. There has to be like a legitimate thing going into it. We've seen that from when Moxley won it from Jericho. It seems around this title there is a lot of story that goes into it. So that's just what I think may happen.
And a lot of people I know would say, well, Pac could still win it, and then Paige could just win it off of Pac. But no. It literally has to be. The story is Paige Omega. That's the story. It wouldn't work any other way. For this conclusion
of this entire storyline. And let's face it, this may not be the end of the entire Elite Omega Hangman stuff. But for this bit to be closed, it has to be Kenny drops it to Hangman. There is no other way around it, as far as I can see.
Yeah, and normally I would be, you see things where you say they're predictable, and you go, oh, man, it shouldn't be predictable. Some things that are predictable are okay if it is the right way. And this, although it's predictable, we've been saying it for a while, it's still the way. So,
and when it happens and there's a full crowd, you bet there is going to be noise like no one's heard before.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to wake some people up that night.
It's going to be amazing.
Yep.
We have another question.
Yes.
From Ben.
Ben. Hashtag 2-question Ben. What's up?
Now, he did have 2 questions, but Ben, I hope you don't mind. I am saving one of your questions for another time.
Oh, you got shut down by Sarah this time.
Just because the other question is definitely for something else for us to discuss. At maybe a certain prediction time.
So we're still using
So Ben asks, what is next for SCU? Is Christopher Daniels going to have a last single run?
I'm not saying Daniels is. I wouldn't think he would ever have another match. I think if there's a cool story, I would think Daniels would have another match. I think the focus maybe should be more on Kazarian, because Kazarian is so good. He is so good. He is so good in the ring. So maybe we get a more fleshed out Kazarian single run. I would think that would be more likely. But I think we could see a Daniels like a one more go down the road for a little bit. I think for now, I think Daniels takes a back seat at least for a while.
Yeah, I think he's doing like more backstage stuff, isn't he now?
Yeah.
That's where he's like concentrating on, which you can understand. Like the guy has been wrestling for so long, and you know what, he's like 50 something now,
mid 50s maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
So some around like 50 something. So like if he's got the option to work backstage, and he doesn't want to completely dismantle his body, then 100%. That should be supported. Not to say he won't ever have another match. You do not know what's going to happen in the future. Look at so many wrestlers who said they'd never wrestle again.
Mm-hmm. But
so
to Ben's point, though, if you're going to give him an actual singles run, like a series of matches, we wouldn't want to wait too long because he is older. So to his point, like if you're going to do it like a one last singles run, you probably kind of do it now. You don't want to wait 3 years down the road to do it.
No,
not that he's in good shape, but I see it more for Kazarian. Sorry, go ahead.
But you don't know what's going to happen with Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. You don't know how that's going to come round, like in a few months' time.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
So, like, Scorpio Sky cannot be with Ethan Page forever.
No, at some point that story
that's going to possibly involve other members of SCU. You don't know. So now I think he's going backstage. He may just want to, get into that, spend more time with family or something like that. But I definitely think there may be something, like, especially how the match ended. I don't think that's the last thing ever. They wouldn't have let them go out like that.
No.
So
no, that was a thing to behold, though. It was.
Yep. Final question.
Absolutely. Let's go.
It's from It Doesn't Matter What My Name Is. Question, and I know you listed quite a few questions, but
good question.
Go through all of them. They were all really good questions. Like I said, we are going to save some for future times. So the question is: Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, Sting and Darby. What's going on?
Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page just keep picking on Sting, is what it looks like. But I think they're might be making a mistake. So I think we're going to eventually get a tag match between Page and Sky and Sting and Darby. That could be a double or nothing match. Kind of what I'm looking at. If you want to get all those guys involved with a pay-per-view, you put them in a tag match, and you can also, from a physical standpoint, save Sting a bit, because it's if it's a live match, and I would assume it will be and not cinematic for just a tag match, that you would have you'll be able to have Darby do most of the work in that and minimize what Sting does. So probably a tag match is over nothing. That's what I
definitely think that's the way this is going. Just for the fact of all of their little play-ins to in Darby's matches and obviously attacking Sting and stuff like that. I definitely think that is on the cards. It would be interesting because obviously Dark Order is slightly involved with this as well. And also technically Lance Archer is, if you want to look at it that way. Wow. So I am intrigued to see what happens, but I definitely think there is something that is going to happen, because it definitely looks like that's what it's angling towards.
So good question, though.
Watch this space, and that concludes review questions.
All right, that was some good questions, man. I always love it. Love the Q&As. Good stuff. So keep them coming, please.
And like I said, even if we don't use all the questions that are submitted, we will be saving some to do on other shows that we do. But it's just I'm trying to give everybody the best chance to get the questions on. So
because we're not just going to have one. We're not just going to have one show a week anymore. It's going to be multiple shows a week. So we'll have time to work in questions elsewhere too. So Yay,
That's
hooray. Great Dynamite. Another good Dynamite building up for next week, too. So looking forward to that.
Yes.
Make sure to follow the channel on Twitter at BeautyXTheBeard.
Mm-hmm.
That is the official Twitter home for the podcast. You can follow us individually on Twitter also. You can follow me at Let the Beard Play. You can follow Sarah at Strange__ Pixie. Yes.
Yep.
Where we talk about AEW all the time. So we love getting involved in conversations. So we do a lot of discussion threads. So we do those a lot. So jump in those discussions, talk to AEW with us. We love going back and forth and hearing everybody's opinions because your opinions are awesome, and you might change my opinions because I read some of the stuff and I'm like, you know what, that makes more sense than what I was thinking. So it definitely makes more sense than what Sarah was thinking. So
more than likely.
I love hearing this stuff. More than likely, yes. So, anyways, yes. So please join the AEW family with us. It's
and also if you want
stuff
to be added in one of our tag lists that we have to make sure you don't miss anything that is posted, you either can obviously click the notification bell for the profile, or you can ask us to be one of the tag lists. Just drop us a message and we'll add you to one of the tag lists so you don't miss anything.
Absolutely. Nope. Because you want to get involved in those conversations. They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun. Yep.
And everybody respects everybody's opinion, so no one has to worry about anything like that.
Keep it positive. Keep it positive.
Yes.
Because we love AEW. If we didn't, we wouldn't be doing this. Absolutely would not be doing this. So. All right. Thank y'all for listening. Y'all be good out there, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.